We got to pay attention to the receivers and not get killed by them. Um, Play with an edge and just play all 4 quarters. Start to
Yep.
finish, all 60 minutes. We're a pretty darn good team for 30 minutes, but for whatever reason, the last 30 minutes has not been good for Utah State this year.
No, no, it hasn't, and that's what's so unbelievable. I went back and watched the third quarter of Colorado State, um, and I couldn't believe I didn't really remember. I hadn't obviously things move on and the game moves forward and everything, and the way Matt Wells answered questions after that game, it he made it sound like, oh well, we were just fighting against field position. They just, pinned us deep. Well, look what happened to the first two possessions. I mean, and this goes exactly with what you were saying. Is Utah State got it on what, the 35 to start that first possession. First of all, Tony Lindsay wasn't in the game. Second of all, Kent Myers got that long run, 19, 20 yards, and then what happened? Couple bad passes, couple bad um, really that possession was just ruined by the offensive line not being able to protect Myers. One was kind of just a mid-range throw that really isn't Myers' forte. It was kind of just a weird throw into triple coverage, that first throw, and then a couple slants that were really covered, and different things like that, and then they handed it off to Lawan Hunt, one of those plays as well, stalled out, um, and didn't even get into field goal range or anywhere, um, where they needed to be, punted it. The you know the Rams got it on their 20 and went down and scored. So, I mean, that first possession, it's not there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for having Lawan Hunt in the game. There's no excuse for throwing a couple weird mid-range throws that maybe one of them would have been understandable. But if you've got Lawan Hunt or if you've got Lawan Hunt, excuse me, if you've got Justin Hervey or if you've got Tony Lindsay in the game and you're running those outside runs, or Kent Myers is keeping the ball and if he keeps running the ball, he's going to get some yardage. He's probably going to get a first down. So the play calling there was a little bit baffling, but even more baffling was the personnel. And then the second possession was only one play because Tony Lindsay took it outside, had a big gain, a great run, and lowers his head and drops the ball. So, for that to work so well to those first two possessions is just crazy to me that the Aggies were still playing well, but a couple empty plays, a couple bad plays. I think wasn't there a sack that on third down, if I remember right, on that first possession. So I mean that's literally the season in as a whole, because it's not just one thing. It's the offensive line. It's Kent Myers. Some bad throws by Kent Myers. Sometimes Myers isn't keeping the ball when he should. Sometimes it's the running back isn't running to the right place or running well. But really, that it was Lawan Hunt being in the game, because I think somebody else would have had a better run. Um, so it was just a weird possession that there's really no excuse for. You can say, oh, we just didn't execute on those couple plays. Well, there's things that you could have done. There's different plays you could have called. There's different things you could have done. So that's what's frustrating, and I think that's what fans look at and say, you know what, I don't understand how that happens. I don't understand why. And then the second possession with the fumble, if fumble's a fumble, they got the ball, the Aggies stopped them and got the punt back. And then after that, it was then that really boring quarter of play, and even went into the fourth quarter as well. Is the Aggies kind of had some three and outs, they had some bad plays, and they kind of got stuffed. They couldn't they couldn't move the ball. They had some bad punts. So I mean, that that second half of Colorado State could have been such a good half if you start out well. It could have completely changed the game. It could have put more points on the scoreboard, obviously, but they just couldn't keep it up. It's like these big plays happen and then they relax or they lose focus or um, you know don't stay with what's working or whatever. It's kind of inexplicable. I don't get it. So that's my rant.
Yeah, the thing that really frustrates me is, I can deal with, coming out with an explanation. Oh, we didn't execute on this drive, we didn't execute on that drive. Well, we haven't executed at all in the second half this year, period. At all. I mean, yeah, okay, Weber, but name me another game where we executed well in the second half.
Nope.
You can't. You cannot name a game that we played well in the second half. If there's a couple of drives in the second half that we didn't, execute, well, that's going to happen. Things aren't going to always fall in line, but it doesn't explain the rest of those two drives. That doesn't explain the rest of the third quarter or the whole fourth quarter. You know what I mean? And like you said, it goes back to, it's like when it starts snowballing for this team, it snowballs on all three phases. The offense gets something going, and then the defense stops them. Okay, well, that was pretty cool. Then the offense gives it back, and then we stall out again. We have to punt, and we shank it. The punter kicks it for 14 yards, and then it just puts it back on the defense again. And it's there. I would love to see one game that they play. Excuse me. 4 quarters.
Yep.
Decent. I'm not saying perfect. I'm just saying decent in all three phases of the game. But we haven't seen that yet. And that's what's frustrating because the talent, I think we have the talent. These guys just need to learn how to, they need to learn how to win. I mean, look at the second half of that game. We gave up a 14-point lead. You lose by a touchdown. If you go back to the Arkansas State game, in my opinion, the game should have been, at halftime, it should have been 21 to 24 points. We should have been, Utah State should have been winning that game, Colorado State. But they just didn't finish stuff out. Then you go back to the Arkansas State game. We're up 24-0. What did we win that game by? 7 points? 27-20? You score 3 points in the second half. I mean, it just doesn't something's not working.
Well, and what one of my keys to this game is that I'm fully expecting a few touchdowns in the first half and pretty good defense out of the first half. I think Utah State will play pretty well, but I would love to see 4 or 5 good drives by the Aggie offense in the second half. I would love to see um, you know them be able to finish drives in the second half and the first half, obviously. But because I mean a lot of the drives that Utah State has finished, they've had different things happen with turnovers and different things like that. But they just need to finish more drives, and when they get to the red zone, when they get to the and everything, it's just I think it's kind of crazy how it's all worked out. I don't really even know how to explain it because there's so many different factors. It's so many different things. That's when the offensive line really has to step up. That's when the play calling needs to be better. And as far as the play calling, I mean, I think that's an easy thing to blame, and it's easy to blame the coaching. But I mean, if it's so close and the difference between winning and losing is so small, well, it's not that much to expect to have good coaching or to have better coaching than Colorado State or have better play calling than Fresno State. That's not that much to ask, um, to have that little bit of an edge, and maybe that's going to be the difference between a win against Fresno State or Colorado State. And really, in my opinion, it has been against Colorado State and Air Force. That little bit of difference, that little change, that um, little thing that coaching was the difference, unfortunately. So until that changes, um, you know, until Utah State has better talent than everybody else in the Mountain West, maybe or something, um, yeah, that's going to be scrutinized. That's going to be looked at. Fans are going to say, well, "What the heck? Why was Lawan Hunt in the game or whatever?" These different things that are completely controllable, that could have changed and just didn't. So let's remind everybody that you can go to ustateaggies.com, sign up for premium membership, get 3 months free when you put in the promo code Aggie Up. So let's have some people do that this week. We've got some visitors coming this Saturday. I think there will be some in-state guys as well that sound like there should be some visitors at the game as well. And so some officials, some unofficials, some local recruits at the game. So should be exciting as far as that goes. Utah State, from what I guess in my opinion is they're about where they usually are, or that they're not necessarily behind the eight ball as far as recruiting. That they've got some really talented commits. So keep checking back. Scout.com will keep updating any offers, any commits, anything going on. Take advantage of some of those premium resources as far as tickets and recruiting news, different things like that. Um, a lot of good things going on there. Um, what else, Seth? What do you have to add in the last couple minutes we've got before we shut it down for the night?
No, you pretty much mentioned it with the official visits and unofficial. I'm working on trying to get some names for the unofficial guys.
Hmm.
Hopefully, I'll be updated in the next day or two, and I'll post those like I've posted the official visitors. Supposed to have one person come in, but he's no longer coming. Hopefully, he can make it at the end of the season. But I know a lot of coaches, us as the fans, they want the recruits to come for the games and experience that, but um, it's tough for coaches to do both, to spend time with the recruits and to deal with the game. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why we don't see a lot at Utah State of recruits coming for the home games.
Yeah, I mean there's not a recruiting department, to host all these guys and everything. So I kind of understand, they've got to keep the numbers down a little bit. But definitely check that out. Shout out to Ogden Aggie. He had a question, just basically asked us to reassure um, him that the Aggies were going to come to play and be able to beat Fresno. And I think there's no doubt that the Aggies should beat Fresno if they come out and play. They've After the bye week, they really need to come out with a renewed focus and a renewed desire to bury these Bulldogs. So we'll see if that happens. It's entirely possible that it won't. That's the problem. And I think if I did think Fresno State was going to come out firing on all cylinders, I would be more worried about the game. But at the same time, we'll just have to see what happens, because I'm hoping to see Utah State finish some drives, finish the game, have a good third quarter, a good fourth quarter, and whether that's blowing Fresno State out or if that's coming from behind or whatever. I think all Aggie fans would love to see a good third and fourth quarter. So we'll all hope for that and see if the Aggies can finish finish the game and finish the drive. So thanks for listening to the Aggie Up podcast. And check out ustateaggies.com. We've got a new article about the MVPs of the first half. Jalen Davis.